Princess Margaret of Connaught was Crown Princess of Sweden and Duchess of Skåne as the first wife of the future King Gustaf VI Adolf. She was the elder daughter of Prince Arthur, Duke of Connaught, third son of Queen Victoria, and Princess Louise Margaret of Prussia, nicknamed Daisy and known in Sweden as Margareta. She died 30 years before her husband's accession to the throne of Sweden. Early life. Princess Margaret was born at Bagshot Park and baptized in the private chapel of Windsor Castle on the 11th of March 1882 by the Archbishop of Canterbury. Her godparents were Queen Victoria, the German Emperor, the German Crown Princess, Prince and Princess Friedrich Karl of Prussia, and a Prince of Wales. She was also confirmed in the private chapel of Windsor Castle in March 1898. Princess Margaret grew up as a member of the British royal family, taking part in family holidays and weddings. She was a bridesmaid at the wedding of the Duke and Duchess of York on the 6th of July 1893. Marriage. When Princess Margaret of Connaught was 23 and her younger sister Princess Patricia of Connaught was 18. Both girls were among the most beautiful and eligible princesses in Europe. Their uncle, King Edward VII, wanted his nieces to marry a European king, a crown prince. In January 1905, the Duke and Duchess of Connaught visited Portugal, where they were received by King Carlos and his wife, Amelia of Orleans, whose sons Luis Felipe, Duke of Braganza, and Prince Manuel entertained the young British princesses. The Portuguese expected one of the Connaught princesses would become the future Queen of Portugal. The Connaughts continued their trip to Egypt and Sudan. In Cairo, they met Prince Gustaf Adolf of Sweden, the future Gustaf VI Adolf of Sweden, grandson of the Swedish King Oscar II. Originally, Margaret's sister Patricia had been considered a suitable match for Gustaf. Without his knowledge, a meeting was arranged with the two sisters. Gustaf and Margaret fell in love at first sight. Prince Gustaf proposed at a dinner held by Lord Cromer at the British consulate in Egypt, and was accepted. Margaret had certainly fallen completely in love with Gustaf. Her parents were very happy with the match. Prince Gustaf was short of sight and used spectacles. He was tall, dark, well-informed, fond of music, an excellent shot and a good dancer. Gustaf and Margaret married on the 15th of June 1905 in St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle. The couple spent the honeymoon in Ireland and arrived in Sweden on the 8th of July 1905. One of Margaret's wedding presents was the Connaught tiara, which remains in the Swedish royal jewelry collection today. The couple had 5 children. Prince Gustaf Adolf, Duke of Västerbotten, born the 22nd of April 1906. Married Princess Sibylla of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha on 1920 October 1932 and had 5 children including the future King Carl. 16 Gustaf of Sweden, died the 26th of January 1947. Prince Sigvard, Duke of Uppland, born the 7th of June 1907. Married Erika Maria Patzek on the 8th of March 1934, thereby losing his royal titles. They had no issue and divorced on the 14th of October 1943. Married secondly Sonja Christensen Robert on the 26th of October 1943 and had 1 son. They divorced on the 6th of June 1961. Married thirdly Marianne Lindberg on the 30th of July 1961. The couple had no issue. Died the 4th of February 2002. Princess Ingrid, born the 28th of March 1910. Married the future King Frederick IX of Denmark on the 24th of May 1935 and had 3 daughters including the future Queen Margaret II of Denmark and the future Queen Anne-Marie of Greece. Died the 7th of November 2000. Prince Bertil, Duke of Halland, born the 28th of February 1912. Married Lillian Craig on 7 December 1976 with approval of the King and had no issue. Died 5 January 1997. Prince Carl Johan, Duke of Dalarna, born 31 October 1916. Married Kirsten Widget Mark on 19 February 1946, thereby losing his royal titles, and adopted 2 children. Married secondly Countess Gunilla Wachtmeister af Johanneshuis on 29 September 1988. Died 5 May 2012, when Gustaf Adolf's father, Crown Prince Gustaf, acceded to the throne as King Gustaf V in 1907. The couple became Crown Prince and Princess of Sweden. Crown Princess. The marriage between Margaret and Gustaf Adolf is described as a happy love match. Gustaf Adolf felt great pressure from the Prussian military discipline with which he had been raised by his mother, and he was greatly affected and attracted to Margaret's English customs, which contrasted with that of his mother's. After her arrival in Sweden, Margaret, who in Sweden was called Margareta, received lessons in the Swedish language, and asked to be educated in Swedish history and social welfare. After 2 years, she spoke good Swedish. During her first years in Sweden, Margaret behaved with great seriousness and was therefore regarded as stiff, but the view of her changed because of her great interest in sports, where she showed a more relaxed and natural manner. Margaret took a great interest in many forms of sports. She used the winters for skiing, ice skating and playing hockey, and played tennis and golf during the summers. She also corresponded with various relatives. Margaret was also interested in art. She photographed, painted, and took a great interest in gardening. She and her spouse received Sofiero Palace as a wedding gift, and they spent the summers there and made a great effort in the gardens of the estate. The gardens of Sofiero were in an English style, and her children participated in their improvement. In 1915, Margaret as Crown Princess and Margareta published the book Var Tradgard par Sofiero, and 2 years later also Fran Blomstergarden illustrated with her own drawings and photographs, which were sold for the benefit of household schools with childcare. During World War I, Margaret created a sewing society in Sweden to support the Red Cross. The society was called Crown Princess Anne's Central Frad för Landstormsmans Beklädnad och utrustning, which was to equip the Swedish armed forces with suitable underwear. When paraffin supplies ran low, she organized a candle collection, and in November 1917 she instituted a scheme to train girls to work on the land. She also acted as intermediary for relatives separated by the war. With her help, private letters and requests to trace men missing in action were passed on. She was also active in her work on behalf of prisoners. She aided prisoners of war in camps around Europe, especially British nationals. Margaret's efforts during the war were pro-British, in contrast to that of her mother-in-law's strictly pro-German attitude. In 1917, Margaret organized Margaretansamling and För de Fattiga. At the end of the war, when the final steps towards full democracy were taken in Sweden, Margaret's positive attitude to reform influenced her husband the Crown Prince. Unlike the attitude of her reform-hostile in-laws King Gustaf and Queen Victoria, this is believed to have eased political tensions and preserved the Swedish monarchy. Death. On 1 May 1920, her father's 70th birthday, Crown Princess Margaret died suddenly in Stockholm. The official announcement said infection set in following a mastoid operation. At the time, she was 18 months pregnant and expecting her 6th child. In announcing her death during traditional International Workers' Day celebrations, Swedish Prime Minister Hjalmar Branting said the sun had gone out at Stockholm Palace. Titles, styles, honors and arms. Titles and styles: the 15th of January 1882 to 15 June 1905, Her Royal Highness Princess Margaret of Connaught. The 15th of June 1905 to 8 December 1907, Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Scania. The 8th of December 1907 to 1 May 1920, Her Royal Highness the Crown Princess of Sweden, Duchess of Scania. Honours: VA Member 2nd Class of the Royal Order of Victoria and Albert, CI Companion of the Order of the Star of India, DJSDJ Dame of Justice of St. John. Arms: upon her marriage in 1905, Princess Margaret ceased to use the arms of the United Kingdom, with an escutcheon of Saxony, the whole differenced by a label argent of 5 points, the first and fifth bearing fleurs de lis azur, the second and fourth shamrocks vert, and the central point across gules. Instead she used the arms of a Princess of Sweden and Duchess of Scania. Issue: Ancestry.